Kia ora koutou, Alex here. I said I'd create a short video to help you get started with Google Sites, particularly using a template. So here we go. First of all, you need to get to your Google Site dashboard. You get there through this little icon, which should be available when you're on most of the Google apps, and you click Sites. We're going to create. I'm going to use the template that I've mentioned in PD, which I created for the projects that I run in my class. Once you've selected it, it will give you the option to name your site. This will be okay, and this will show up as part of your URL. It can take a little bit of time at this stage when it is creating your site, so just be patient. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. I'm going to try get through showing you how to edit text and insert images and video, and we'll just see how much storage I have at the moment and whether it shuts me off. So here, this is what this template looks like. You've got a few different buttons up here. This one here is what you're going to use if you're editing anything on the page that you're looking at. This is how you can add extra pages to your site. And lastly, this one here lets you do nearly everything. And the main options on here that I use are either editing the site layout, which is how your pages look, how they're arranged, where the navigation goes, those sorts of things. And lastly, managing site for a range of different functions as well. But for today, we're just looking at how to edit your page. First, the really easy bit, so just adding text. So there are two different ways you can add text. This here I call floating text, just because when it's on the page it's not attached to anything, it's not contained within a box. The other kind of text that I use is when it's a text box, and the reason for this is just that I do want it within a box. So I don't use the gadget title. Put your text here in the box so it doesn't float. And as well as that, within a text box you can insert images, you can put hyperlinks in here to anything that has a web address, and lastly you can use horizontal lines. So I'll just show you on my site. This is what I mean by floating text. It's not contained or attached to anything, whereas this text I've put into a text box. You can see I've got text, I've got links here, images, and these horizontal lines, which I use to separate out my learning activities. And the reason I do this with the text box is it just delineates between the two columns. It makes it easier on the eye and easier to find the information you're looking for. You'll notice that at the moment the text gadget looks empty, and it will do until you save the page. There are a couple of things you can do with text gadgets. You can select where you want it to sit. I prefer to have it on the left just so that the page is all justified, and you can choose to have any text wrap around it. So let's just save and see what that looks like. Here we go, so we've got our floating text here, and then we've got this text which is inside the box, and you can just see that little horizontal line there. The next thing is inserting images, and there's two different ways you can do this. So we're going to insert an image, and you can either upload an image from the computer that you're working on at the time. So I've just got one here. Okay, occasionally the image won't show up, and what's the bet, I've just picked one that won't show up. If I was clever I would have tested this first, but I'm not always clever. So there's the first one that I've managed to put in the wrong place, so I'm just going to grab it and drag it down to where I want it. And again, there are a few little things you can do. You can choose where you want it on the page. You can change the size. Think about when you do change a size whether it's going to be good enough quality. And again, you can choose to have the text wrap around it if you would like. The other way you can insert an image is make sure you put your cursor where you want it. That's where the image will go. And this is when you can insert an image from a website. So you select the URL option. Now I've already found one that I want to use, this one here. Now to get the URL for this, you right click just as if you were saving the image, but we're going to copy the image URL. So now I've got that, I want to pop it in here, and that's the image, and then select OK. That's a bit big, so I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. And I think I want it to have the text wrapped around it. Let's see if I can move that where I want it. Right hand side. Okay, there we go. Now, a few of you have mentioned that you quite like the little moving images that I use. I've got one on my site. And these are GIFs, they're little animated GIFs. And wherever possible, if you can get movement happening on your screen, it's a really good way for the students to be engaged with what's there. It actually makes them look in that direction and get them thinking about what is that, which then flows on to them looking for other things. So again, all I've done is I searched for an animated GIF. So if you put animated GIF, you tend to find some. They're not all animated, but it tends to work well. And then again, you're just getting that URL. Slowly, copy image URL, and then popping back in here, doing exactly the same thing. I'm inserting an image, just so happens that this image moves, and in it goes. Okay, so again, we're going to save and see how that looks. Now, the next thing, you may want to have video playing in there. So again, we're just editing our page. I'm going to put my video here. Up to insert, and I'm going to use a YouTube video. If you use the YouTube video, it embeds it nicely in the screen. Okay, so again, I need the URL of it. I've found one previously. To get the URL, you make sure you select share, and this link here will do exactly what you need it to do. So I've copied that. If you want it to embed from a particular location in the movie, so for example, you may want it to start here. If you just tick this box here, whatever point you're at in the video, it will start that video from that position. Once you've ticked it though, you may have noticed that this URL changed. It's because it's changed the instructions. So just make sure you copy it fresh when you do that. I suspect I just changed that. Okay, there we go. So now I'm just going to pop that in there, and it should give me, a little image. I think this size here is a bit bigger and will show it better. I include the border. I don't bother including the title YouTube video. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. And now my video's there. Again, you've got a few options about where it sits. And again, you won't be able to see it until you save your page. So there we go. Now we've got a little video in there which will play within the screen. If possible, it's great to actually keep them on the screen, save them from going off in different directions and getting distracted. So that's another reason why I've started to include Google Docs in my actual web page. So if we go here, you'll see that I've embedded a Google Doc into this page. So this is a Google Doc that I've created, that I've shared to them so they can view it. And then I've embedded that Google Doc into the page of the website. It's a whole range of different ways you could actually use this. The way that I have done that is, again, we're inserting something, so we need to turn our page editing on. I'm going to pop it underneath here. Okay, I'm going to go insert. And I'm going to Drive now because I want to select a document from my Drive. How about I select a presentation, because this is quite a nice way to have a bit of dynamic action happening on your page. I'm going to do this one. This is really boring. This is just some instructions actually for a lesson, but to demonstrate it will work. I'm going to get rid of the title again. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. And I want it to start as soon as the player loads. That means basically as soon as your page is loaded. And I want it to restart at the end, just so that it keeps changing whilst they're on that page. They can control it starting and stopping. Now I'm going to run out of space soon, so if this stops abruptly, I'll start a new one. So I've saved this in here. Let's just quickly go and have a look. Okay, so as I said, this is a boring slideshow, but if you had images from a field trip, anything like that, this is a great way to display them. Now I've got 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds, so I hope this has been helpful. Email me if you need any more help.